Hello there, album enjoyers.
Dearest album enjoyers, we speak to you now very briefly to quickly plug the Enjoy an Album Patreon, aka Becoming an Ultra.
We are plugging Becoming an Ultra. Not the things that you get by being an Ultra, we are plugging the experience of becoming an Ultra.
If that's not the number one reason to become an Ultra, I don't know what is. No. It's just £5 per month. If you've ever listened to this podcast and thought, I like these fellas, I enjoy listening to their 4 free hours of content that they put out every month, I would like to purchase them a pint or a coffee one time. This is a way of doing that. But you get exclusive content in return.
You get exclusive content in return. You get full episodes on albums such as...
recently we did Grimes
Visions, Ed Sheeran's Divide.
Yes, we did Anoni and the Johnsons. We did the Pogues.
And the Pogues.
We did
Rum Sodomy and the Lash by the Pogues.
The Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that was a sad one.
We did Idols, Black Country New Road.
Yeah.
Also,
Ants from Up Here.
You would have access to the Edinburgh Fringe Enjoy an Album live show.
We done a live show at Monkey Barrel Comedy Club. We fucking ripped it and shipped it. People were saying that's...
People were saying it's one of the best things they've ever seen in their lives, including The Godfather. They said it was better than The Godfather.
People actually did say that it was the funniest thing they'd seen at the Fringe, and they weren't even fucking worms, never mind ultras. They were just like, that was really funny.
Yeah, like...
They didn't even like us as people, and they went, that was funny.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
Yeah, so get on that. You also get ad-free experience.
Some of my biggest enemies have said that that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Barack Obama himself was in the audience. Christopher, that was... let me be clear. That was a fantastic live show.
Let me be clear. I hate you. But that's funny.
Zane Lowe has watched it twice.
Zane Lowe, he played it on his... He played the whole live episode.
He dropped it twice in a row.
Just like Barack Obama dropped bombs on various countries.
That was a fantastic live show. So you also get episodes a day early, and you get exclusive access to tickets for live shows when they do go on sale.
Ad-free experience. You don't have to hear this shite.
This shite every goddamn week, and we forget to do a new one every month. So sometimes it's 3 months of the same advert.
Yep.
This has probably gone on long enough. You understand what I'm saying. Become an Ultra today. Patreon.com/enjoy an album. Link in bio.
Just be sound and do it.
Hello, album enjoyers, and welcome to the Enjoy an Album podcast with Liam Withnail and my very good friend Christopher MacArthur Boyd.
We're back after a long break. We're back.
Well, it's not been a long break for the listener. No. It's been it's been the 7 days, but we're back after 7 days for you, and just a few days for the patrons. I think.
Just a few,
just a couple. So we are back in your ears, talking about music and each other. Where have we been? I've been in Italy.
Italiano.
The OG Arancini Towers.
Oh yeah, they invented it.
They sure did.
But you know, I was reading about this. Did you know?
Do you know I was? Interesting you should say that, because I was reading about this the other day. What were you reading about?
Cannolis. They were actually an Arabic invention from when the Moors. Not the Moors, they ran Spain, I believe. But when Italy was an Islamic country in the 700s,
right?
Yeah, they left behind the cannolis, and that's where that comes from.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not find this out when you went to Italy?
Well, I think when you've spent some time in Italy, what you learn is that each region has its particular dish.
Yeah.
And that is really the dish that you have there. So where I was, the Italian Riviera and Florence, or as they say there,
Firenze. I've not been, but I have been more than you have.
It's not really cannoli country.
No.
Although Lauren did have a cannoli and she said it was delightful. It's gelato land. It's where gelato was invented.
Yes.
But I was...
Shout out to Mary McBar, who studied the art of gelateria at the Tuscan... Gelato University.
The Tuscan Gelato University. You get that on the hoodie. So
She's got a Leavers hoodie from when she graduated, I believe.
So there was one day, right? There's this group of 5 towns. It's called the Cinque Terre, right? And it's like a hike that you do. It takes about a day.
That means 5 Earths.
Yes. And each town is like on the coast, and it's all these beautiful, colourful buildings overhanging the rock onto the sea. It's great. Okay, we got a boat one day out to like ride alongside the whole hike and to see it from the sea. Amazing. Our captain was this 60-year-old Italian man called Marco, and he had a Bluetooth speaker, and so he decided to soundtrack this beautiful journey for us.
What album did he put on?
He put enjoy the very best of panpipe music.
No, I hate panpipe music, man.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah,
and included a panpipe rendition of Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On," aka the song from Titanic, aka the last song you want to hear when you're actually on a fucking boat.
Yeah.
Totally ruined the experience.
Yeah. Makes one Marco prick.
But then he changed it because I think someone told him you shouldn't be playing panpipe music over this beautiful scenery. So we put on Dire Straits, Money for Nothing.
Oh.
And that fucking rocked.
We should do that.
And so he sped up the boat. We were bouncing on the ocean water, watching the beautiful, colourful buildings go past, right?
Yeah.
Ancient Italian villages.
Cinque Terre.
And I felt like, oh, this is like a core memory being created. Do you know what I mean?
Knopfler's licks.
So I was wondering, can you recall any musical core memories like that where you're like, this is like a movie?
Yeah, I remember being in...
I knew you would have an immediate answer for this, by the way. That's why I wasn't worried about not prepping you for it before.
I don't need prepped. I'm just in love with the human experience, to quote Robot. I remember being very strongly in like the hills of Pineda.
Being very strongly there.
Yeah.
You were there very
I
strongly.
was so strong back then. And I just remember listening when I was like 13, long hair, Metallica t-shirt, not enjoying the holiday.
Just like Marco.
Just like Marco. I was a wee Marco myself, you know. Meghan Markle. And I remember being in the back of like a Jeep listening to Am I Evil by Metallica, their cover of Diamond's Head. And it's like... And I just remember being like, this is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Being on holiday and listening to music's class, because most of the time when you're on holiday, it's a kind of like shared experience, but music can often... actually, music can be shared as well, but...
Me and Marco shared something on the boat of the Riviera, for sure.
Yes.
A mutual appreciation of the panpipes.
So yeah, Am I Evil by Metallica makes me think of like in a Jeep in the mountains.
Yeah.
And I'm just like...
And now whenever you hear that, are you transported back to that?
Life doesn't get much better than this.
As you were.
CMB as you were.
And when you hear that now, are you instantly transported back to that moment?
Yeah.
Because I think whenever I hear Money for Nothing by Dire Straits, I'm going to be on the Italian coastline again.
I seen that record in the Oxfam Music Shop on Byers Road for like a tenner. You interested?
Sure. This record that we're covering this week...
Is this a question that you want to put out to the album enjoyers?
Well, it's very interesting because I posited that to you as an idea and you poo-pooed it, and now you've brought it up as if there's something that we are doing. So I guess yes.
Well, right, so there's two things we can do. You can either share an experience and then go on Patreon to ask, do you have any other...
This is so overcomplicated. Right, so let's just drop it.
No, don't.
I'll post a question on the Patreon, and then
my
we'll read it
idea is... Okay, what are the two options?
This is 100% something we should have done off pod.
100%. What is the two options?
What do you mean?
What are the two options for us to do?
These are your options.
Right.
You've brought them up.
Third option. Put a poll on the Patreon saying, should the question be posited to the Patreon or should it be posited to the Patreon via this podcast, answered through the Patreon?
This week we're covering Talking Heads Stop Making Sense, which feels very apt right now.
I stopped making sense about when I was in the hills of Pineda in the Tibidabo Mountains.
This is, I'm hoping this will be out in time for it to still be in cinemas. So this is a pretty topical release, even though it's 40 years since it first came out. But there's a lot of fun stuff to get into this week. So I'm excited to get into the meat and bones of the episode.
Please, I'm begging for the meat and bones right now.
Patrons, you are getting the episode immediately. Worms, you have adverts to wait, or you can skip through it on your app. I know people do that. That's fine.
You need to stop calling these guys worms, man.
Well, they are worms until they give us their goddamn money.
It's not how I feel about worms or money.
Enjoy the episode. Hey, are your pubes too hairy? Do you need help with that?
your groin to hairlicious, hirsute.
Is there too much of a positive environment for crabs and lice?
Too much fuzz on your coos.
When you get undressed in front of someone you wish to have a sexual time with, are you embarrassed by the state of your nether regions?
Having an examination done by a doctor and you're self-conscious about how hairy your balls and bits are.
Us too. What a shame there's no solution for this kind of problem.
No, wait, there is.
What?
Manscaped.
Oh my God, what is that? Tell me more.
Not manscaping, not manscaper, manscaped.
Only a stupid person would have called it that by accident 10 times in a row.
Yes.
Only an idiot.
It's the below the belt grooming experience. It's not blade free, it's blade full.
It's bladeful.
It's cut free. You won't
It's
cut
cut free.
I'm literally closing my eyes in the shower in the fucking rain coming down. I shower in the rain and I'm just not even looking, just buzzing.
If you do look, there's a little handy torch which highlights where you're about to trim. Yes.
I've never used the torch. That's cool.
Yes.
Attached to the the lawnmower.
Yes, there's a light that comes on that shows you exactly where you're trimming.
You can do it in the dark with your eyes closed and you still hit the mark.
You can do it dark with your eyes closed in the shower. It's waterproof. You can charge it using USB-C. So you can unplug your phone if you've got a USB-C, plug it straight into your pube trimmer.
You're on a train.
You're ready to go. You're on a train. Please only use these
Your
plug
phone's up to
sockets
75%.
for phones, laptops, and pube trimmers.
That's why they have that sign. Don't do that. But what you should
Sometimes
do,
I go into a coffee shop and I sit near a plug socket and I plug my lawnmower in so that I could jump into the bathroom, keep it fresh all times. I never want to see a single hair on my balls, otherwise I cry.
Yeah, I've got a cock like a dolphin.
It's
Grey.
and endangered.
Just if you want a funny gift for someone or
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's fucking
useful.
serious.
Enjoy an album. No, what's the code again? Manscaped
Album
20. God almighty.
You get 20% off.
Can you believe we get paid for this? Album 20 for % off your first purchase and ongoing purchases, I think.
If you don't have a cock and balls, you can do it on other stuff, but it's mainly made for the cock and balls.
It's got the word man in the title, let's be honest.
Let's not get into that topic, man, but hey, it's good.
It's good stuff.
The pants are good.
And the underwear, the anti-chafing material is to die for. That's album 20. Don't die for it. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
Jonathan Demme's Talking Heads concert film Stop Making Sense is in many ways a reaction against other depictions of live music and film, with many of the visual ideas going against the grain of what was popular at the time in the early 80s. Demme and the Talking Heads refused to show the audience until the end of the film, linger on static shots to keep attention on David Byrne's physicality and famous big suit, eliminate all coloured lights and make no attempt to obscure the work of stagehands. On top of that, the setlist is constructed so that the band is slowly assembled piece by piece over the course of the first 6 songs, starting with a solo performance of Psycho Killer by Byrne and building up to an ensemble performance of Burning Down the House.
Is that your
Fighting
emphasis or
fire with fire, burning down the house.
Yeah.
My house. My house. I was singing the Tom Jones version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard the Tom Jones version first, so I'm always...
Same.
Yeah.
Tom Jones and the Cardigans.
And the Cardigans, man.
Fighting fire with fire, burning down the house.
How did they hook up,
My
man?
house. Probably have same...
Sex bomb.
Dude,
Yeah.
Talking Heads cover a Sex Bomb. When's that coming out?
There's not enough said about the sort of late 90s Tom Jones renaissance where he was just recording mad songs like that. Was
About
there?
shagging and fire.
Sex bomb, sex bomb.
You're my sex bomb.
What, Tom, what are you
You
doing?
can put it to me when you need to come along.
What does that even mean, man? I love that song when I was a wee guy. I was just pelvic thrusting all over the place. 6 years old, tiny cock.
So, what did you know about Talking Heads prior to this week, Christopher?
What did I know about Talking Heads? What did I know about Stop Making Sense? When was the first time you saw it?
I actually had not seen it until earlier this year. I think in its entirety.
Earlier this year?
Yes.
Where?
Where? It's on Prime.
Oh, yeah.
But I had heard it, but I hadn't watched it, and I'd seen videos of the more
big suit.
famous parts,
Dancing
the big
well up.
headliners. And I first became aware of Talking Heads first off via Burning Down the House,
Sex Bomb.
Also, you have their big songs that obviously everybody knows. Psycho Killer.
That's on this.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Love that.
Yeah.
What a cool thing to put in a song.
Run,
Fa
run,
fa fa
run.
fa 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 fa.
Yeah. Have you heard the demo version with the lyrics of shite?
No.
Oh, it's just shite.
But also, in my teens, as you well know, I was a big fan of the band Radiohead.
They are named after Talking Heads
Named
song.
after a Talking Heads song. So it was when I was into Radiohead that I heard that and was like, well, they must be a cool band. So I listened to some Talking Heads songs and Talking Head album. I think it was just a little bit too out there for me at the time, which is weird because I was listening to Radiohead, which is like pretty out there.
Different kind of out there though.
Different kind
Bit
of...
sillier.
Yeah, a bit sillier, and it had this sort of African beats and stuff, whereas Radiohead was using more electronic music with the Kid A album, which was their sort of most out there stuff. So I was aware of them. I'd listened to them a bit. I've heard them
It's a
over the
bit more
years.
fun.
I've never really got dug into them.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, as I say, I have seen Stop Making Sense before, but I would never really call myself a big fan nor expert
Really?
until now.
Till now. I took the burn pill a long time ago.
Well, he's Scottish.
Listen, we'll get to that.
So
Are we getting that right now?
No,
No.
you tell us what you know. But I mean, I just there's no, you have an affinity with Scottish musicians.
What does that mean?
Well, you like them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know who else is Scottish? AC/DC.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Texas.
Sure.
Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Franz Ferdinand.
The View.
The View. The Excerpts.
Emily Sandé.
Emily Sandé from Aberdeen.
One of your favourites.
One of my best Aberdonian singers. Aztec Camera. Belle and Sebastian.
This okay.
Who else?
Lulu. The Proclaimers.
The Proclaimers are Scottish, arguably.
Yes. Technically, if you go into their lineage.
But most importantly today, who is Scottish? David Byrne.
That's where this long list started.
Yes. I was talking to somebody whose high school teacher was David Byrne's uncle.
Right.
So they were a school teacher in Glasgow.
Okay.
And their nephew was the American Scottish musician David Byrne.
That is how uncles and nephews work.
And they had a picture of having a pint with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. It's a bit like my dad knowing the guy from being related to the guy from Iron Maiden. It's like you kind of
Yours
probably
is-
don't know each
No,
other.
because this is a guy I know's teacher.
Yeah.
That was your blood with Maiden.
Yeah.
It's not the
They're all
same.
about blood.
Yeah.
But then, what teacher was it? Art teacher?
Don't know.
Oh, I just made that up. So you fan from a young age of the Heads?
I was thinking about this, man, because I was trying to think do you know that way, like I consider myself a fan of the work of Steve Buscemi,
Right.
right? But my first exposure to him, I think, was Spy Kids 2,
Okay.
when he has that great speech.
I
halfway through it.
haven't seen
You
it.
haven't seen it?
Would you believe?
Steve Buscemi's a scientist
I don't want to.
who's locked
I'm
underneath an island.
Are you, right. Are you
Don't
gonna-
fucking touch your laptop. I'm talking to you about something that's important to me. You're going to look up the speech?
No, I'm going to look up its Rotten Tomatoes score.
Right. This is a good film. This is a really good film.
It's
is a
it's
really
got
good-
75%.
Yeah, as it should. Should be 85% if you ask me.
It's certified fresh.
Audience score 39. What's wrong with these Philistines?
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi has this speech where he says, sometimes I wonder if God's in heaven to hide himself away from us. He's afraid of his own creation.
Right.
It's beautiful. It's an amazing bit of acting.
Right.
And then you get a bit older and you go, Fargo, Con Air, all these great films. with
Big
Steve Buscemi,
Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski. And you go, it's interesting that I got into him through Spy Kids too.
You got into him via Spy Kids.
Yeah, I've always loved his face
Right, okay.
and his work.
But in what way did that manifest? Like, you watched Spy Kids 2, went, wow, I love that guy.
I remember seeing Bill Murray and Steve Buscemi when I was a wee boy and going, this guy's great.
Yep.
I've seen a couple of films with him in them, and I like him now.
Okay.
And just been like, I'm going to keep an eye out for him. Then you get teenage years, you can start buying your own DVDs, videos.
Okay, how are you pivoting this back to...
So,
David
I
Byrne?
got into Talking Heads as a teen. However, when I was 9, a song came out that I loved, and my mum and dad would sing it at me all the time. Lazy by, I think they're called 2 Extreme or something. You ever heard this? I'm thinking that I'm lazy.
Oh, yeah. I do know this.
Oh, don't you want to save me?
You like that at 9 years old?
When I was 9, that was my favourite song.
What a strange little boy.
A strange wee guy run about.
But then I love that Fighting Fire with Fire, and I would have been about 9 then. It was 99, I think.
That was Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Are you genuinely off the top of your dome saying you think Tom Jones's cover of Burning Down the House was 99?
I'm
You doming it?
I'm doming it big
Let's
time.
hear it. Look it up.
Tom Jones. I should have my keyboard with me. Tom Jones burning.
Burning down the house.
And let's see if it's 99. What's going to happen? It was 99.
Whoa, how are you doing that, man? How are you doing
Top
that?
of the dome.
This is the kind of expertise you only get on Enjoy an Album.
Absolutely. Are we ever going to talk about David Byrne?
Yes.
So what was his relation to this song when you were 10?
He's the vocals. He's the guy who goes, I'm thinking that I'm lazy.
Right, okay.
Oh,
I think the Steve
don't you
Buscemi
wanna
analogy was a little bit
save me?
crowbarred.
No, it's when you see somebody as a child and then you grow to appreciate them, but they've always been there.
I don't think
They've always been
that
in your
song
life culturally.
Lazy is the song version of Spy Kids 2.
Why? Why not?
I think they're doing a different thing. I mean, obviously I haven't seen Spy Kids 2.
You haven't even seen it, and it got a good review from your beloved criticism
I actually
community.
think Rotten Tomatoes is trash.
Why are you always using it then?
Because it's funny to bring you down a peg or two when needed. Today it has failed.
Who directed Spy Kids 2? Robert Rodriguez.
Right.
Who was in it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's good. It's good stuff. It's a criticism of fucking American foreign policy.
So David Byrne is from Dumbarton.
Yeah.
I've been there.
To do that gig at the Rock.
The gig at the Rock at the football ground.
The Dumbarton Rock.
Yes, a nice gig.
Yeah.
That seems like a nice enough town.
No.
Okay.
In the 60s?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. Post-industrial.
During industrial?
Yeah.
Do you think him dancing about a big suit down a mine? Do you think that's appropriate?
I think he would have found his ways, you know.
They would have used them to get down especially narrow passages in the mine, just like a big pipe cleaner. I don't think he would have flourished in the mining environment. This guy.
Sorry, we should do the jingle.
It's a good show. It's a good show. You do it fast and it feels like not show got no money. You got that bro secret pie show.
David Byrne was born in Dumbarton. His dad is from Lamb Hill. I haven't heard of that. Do you know Lamb Hill?
Lamb Hill? Oh, don't know that.
Oh, really?
Don't think so.
They moved to Canada because his dad was an engineer and couldn't find any good engineering jobs. And
Nice one, Thatcher.
he was married.
Wasn't around yet.
And his dad was married. It was a Catholic and was married to a Presbyterian, and there was increasing tensions at the time. So they moved to Canada and then relocated again to Maryland, where he went to a pretty normal high school. He did, however, then go to the Rhode Island School of Design and the Maryland Institute of Art. Quite posh, arty schools. But he dropped out
Just
both.
goes to show you, though, the opportunities that were available elsewhere that weren't present in Scotland.
Well, I mean, sure. So I'm going to say no real posho.
No.
Just probably lower middle class.
Some of the other band members were pretty secret posh.
Wow, it's funny you should say that because Tina Weymouth, the bassist,
One of my all-time favourite bass players.
the daughter of U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Ralph Weymouth. Him, that guy.
Is this a Mitski scenario where...
He was CIA. Well, he did. He was stationed in the during the Second World War and the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
He did a lot of bad stuff.
How many
there,
people did he kill,
presumably.
does it say?
No, but he did become an anti-nuclear campaigner when he retired after seeing the damage that the nuclear warheads had done to Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
So in the end,
Nagasaki.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Chiswick Posho, her brother was the architect who helped Empire design the triangle building above the Louvre.
What?
Yeah.
Empire?
I Empire.
Senpai?
I Empire is the architect, the Louvre architect.
Is that?
Yes.
Oh, that.
Well, then who do you think is the architect for the Louvre?
Steve Buscemi. Robert Rodriguez.
Anyway, so literally the bassist of Talking Heads' brother helped design the Louvre,
Yeah.
which is pretty posh.
So if you're describing, I don't like the term art rock, but I would say it applies to these freaks.
Well, it's funny because this was sort of described at the time as new wave, but that was because there was no real term for this kind of genre of music at the time, and they kept being lumped in with punk early on in their career. So, and they were like, well, we're not punks.
Yeah.
And then punks would turn up to their shows and be like, this isn't punk.
This is fucking not punk.
So a record,
He's wearing a polo shirt, for fuck's sake.
like a record label guy basically just invented the term new wave because it was like this exciting art pop that was coming out of New York. And as soon as they started being called new wave, then the Talking Heads started getting a lot more interest. People were writing about them because it was this new genre of
That's how
music.
genre works. Just some guy comes up with it and just lumps all these people disparately together.
They were disparate as well. I mean, yeah, there are some similarities between some of the new wave bands, but in general, it's just, I guess,
What's your favourite new wave band?
probably these guys.
Yeah, same. I like Flock of Seagulls.
Right.
I ran so far away. Dun, dun, I couldn't get away. Cha, 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 cha. It's like they did.
That was like a Frightened Rabbit version of that.
Was it?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
ran so far away. I wish. Oh, look at that big glug. Coke Zero.
There was no need to narrate my drinking the Coke. I was hoping you would professionally fill the gap with some sort of musings. Instead, you just open your own brew at the same time. God almighty.
We're back.
We are so back.
We are so back right now.
I went to see Stop Making Sense.
Well, and we picked this, and I said to you, can you go see this?
Yes.
Because they've done a 4K remaster.
A24.
A24, the coolest
They're the
production company.
they make the cool
What
films.
would you call them? Production company?
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
Big movie house.
Big
That's what we call it in the biz.
Yeah.
Big movie house.
Yes.
When they make the talkies,
Uh-huh.
the filmies.
Who is your favourite A24 film?
Who?
Yeah.
Well, they've done. Did they not do a lot of the Yorgos Lanthimos?
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
Poor Things. Alistair Gray. Another great Scottish artist.
Yes. So I enjoy his work.
What's your favourite Yorgos flick?
I like The Lobster. Yes. I feel like you're putting me on.
No, I just want to hear you talk about stuff you're passionate about. You shit on
Moonlight is A24.
me. It's phoning me. Roscoe. Idiot.
Can you just be professional for one goddamn minute?
Yeah.
Moonlight is A24. What's your favourite A24 film?
Got to be Uncut Gems.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
When I saw that at the GFT, I was like,
my
this
god,
bangs.
anxiety inducing.
Just felt like home for me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was just like, this was like.
Is that like when people with ADHD are given speed and it makes them normal? When you watch one of these anxiety
so
films,
much like when I did the
it's like
speed,
slow
yes.
motion. Yeah.
Like, this is class.
Yes. So I went to see it last night at the View Omni
Your
Centre.
favourite Edinburgh Independent Picture House.
The View.
The View.
Yes.
On the set.
I would have preferred. Here's the thing: the film house in Edinburgh is closed.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. The film house. The Cameo Picture House is a beautiful cinema. However, the Picture House are scumbags, and they fired all of their staff and then rehired them for cheaper. Yeah, they're firing rehire guys. They're awful.
Places have done that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. It's bad.
So I don't like to go there.
You don't like to go to the Cameo, even though it's. Oh.
I mean, I've been once in the last few years to go and see Licorice Pizza. Yeah.
Who made that? Was that A24?
No, Paul Thomas Anderson's got his own thing going on.
Yeah, it's got his own thing.
Anyway, but it was on at the View at 6:00, so that was the time that I could go and see it. So I went to see it at the View, and look, the View. I mean, look, they have. Here's the thing about these big picture houses. That's what we call them in the biz. Is that they have great. They do have great technology. The screen's good. The sound is good. It could have done with being a little smidgen louder. I thought, you want to listen to music loudly.
Loud as fuck.
It wasn't quiet, but you wanted to really just fucking feel it.
You I feel it.
There was about 8 other guys in there.
Okay.
All of them.
Talk me through them.
I can talk you through all of them at once. Imagine me 8 more times.
Really?
Yes. 8 different versions of me in there.
It's like a multiverse thing. It was like Loki season 1 by Marvel.
Yes.
Is that an A24 film?
No,
that's a
but
TV
Everything
show.
Everywhere All at Once was A24.
Oh,
which
that's another
also
one I
has
liked,
a
yeah, I saw that.
metaverse thing. So it was quite the experience because it was interesting gazing around from time to time and seeing all of these. Basically, I think it was all dudes on their own,
Yeah.
quietly bopping to themselves. I got a girlfriend, and like just like tapping their foot a little bit,
Yeah.
You can imagine how in a full cinema, how people would be clapping along and dancing a little bit more, and how the groove would somewhat overtake them.
Have I told you about what happened when I watched it?
Well, so have you seen this restored version?
No, I've not seen the restored version.
So hang on,
Yeah.
you told me to go see
I
it.
told you to go see it, and then my plans changed.
Your change planed. What?
My plans changed.
That man's planed the change planed.
That guy's Chan's planed all over me, man. It's Jackie Chan's planed.
You haven't seen it,
I haven't seen the new one. I didn't have time.
Christopher.
It's my girlfriend's birthday yesterday.
This
I was on tour. I thought I was. So here's
You
what happened.
told me to go see it.
I told you to go see it.
You're
Yes.
unbelievable.
No, I'm believable. Plans change.
Right.
I was believing that I was. I feel like Liam Payne when he's like one of the greatest emoters of all time. I thought that I was going to be in Manchester for 3 days
Right.
and then going to gigs at night. Turned out I was actually staying at a series of remote manor houses over the last. I have a strange life.
Manor houses.
Yes, I was staying at a series of remote manors.
Right.
When what I thought was I would be embedded in a city. So I was looking up, I can go see Stop Making Sense 4K remastered at 9 a.m, have lunch, go for a swim, do the gig. No, that didn't happen. None of the manors had a miniature, up-to-date cinema.
Right. Up to date. old cinemas for
It's
sure.
rubbish.
But right, okay. But you have seen the original version of this.
9 years ago.
So you didn't watch that recently either?
No, I downloaded this on Amazon last night.
Okay.
The way you did a couple of months ago, I guess.
Right.
About, not 9 years ago. I'm going to say 2014.
But then you watched it again last night.
2014 was 9 years ago. What?
Have you watched this recently?
When? Yes!
Okay.
Fuck! Not the new one. And we're not doing Enjoy a film. We're doing Enjoy
okay.
an album.
That's fine.
I've listened to the remastered album.
Right, okay. I thought you were telling me that you hadn't seen it for 9 years.
I have not seen it in a cinema for 9 years.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't Enjoy a Cinema.
No,
We should do that.
that'd be good.
That would be nice.
Just reviewing different cinemas and their
Yes.
staffing practices.
No films. How do you keep your roster and your
What's
rota?
your turnover like?
What's your staff turnover? What's
So-
your Apple turnover like?
Good God. I was so confident about this episode coming in.
2010.
Right.
2014.
What?
Flying Duck showed this.
Right.
The Flying Duck, the vegan pub.
Yes.
And you're thinking, well, tell me what you're thinking when I say that.
I'm thinking, keep making sense.
Thank you. The Flying Duck, the vegan pub,
Yep.
showed Stop Making Sense in its club venue.
Okay.
Now, why would you do that?
Well, so you went to that?
I went to that.
And was it everyone standing?
Well, we were sat down to start with.
Yes.
And then there was a technical issue.
Oh.
Which was the audio and the video, which is arguably much of what a film is.
The combination of the two, certainly.
Yes.
Not in all cases, but most.
Sometimes not.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we'll get to that when we do Enjoy Cinema. But AV is important. And the audio and the video were out of sync.
Right.
So fucking Chris Franz would do a big drum fill like that. And then 3 seconds later, it'd go.
Right.
And we were just like, fuck, this is shit. But then everybody just went, fuck it. Probably like 100 people in a nightclub.
Yeah.
With this playing, like the video was playing, but we weren't really paying attention because it wasn't what the sound
Too
was
busy
like.
dancing.
We were too busy dancing.
So it's interesting. So like what happened to you that night is the narrative arc of Stop Making Sense, where it starts out one man on the stage, bit awkward, okay, a little bit reserved, and then
Do you mind if I play my tape?
And then as the music grows and more people join the stage and the production grows, he is freed from his self-consciousness and begins to dance liberally and crazily.
Yeah.
You live the experience through the film.
Through the vegan pub, the Flying Duck.
That sounds beautiful.
It was one of the best moments of my life.
And in a way that's similar to me in the cinema last night, because at the very start of the show I was not bopping.
No.
But by the end I was.
Your head was bopping slightly by the end of the most transformative concert film in music history.
Yeah, it was slightly more reserved than what you're talking about, I think. But there was definitely, maybe I clapped. I felt the real urge.
Once, maybe.
Maybe.
I was dancing.
Yeah.
I was going, I gotta go.
How many of you were in the pub though?
100?
Yeah.
It was like a nightclub?
Yeah.
With the lights off?
So here was 8 guys in a cinema.
That's fucked.
Sat in
You didn't experience it.
Oh, but I did. I did.
How?
I was moving up and down in my
Yeah.
seat and I was shaking my leg to the music.
Shaking your leg?
So we should explain to anyone who hasn't seen the film that the film starts, as does the album. The album is the album of the film. And it is just your man, David Byrne, with a boombox and a backing track. And he plays Psycho Killer, one of Talking Heads' most famous songs.
But it's a different version. It's like acoustic with a drum machine.
Yeah, he's just on his own. And then as each song progresses throughout the first sort of third of the film, a new band member joins him on stage with an instrument.
Tina Murmur.
Tina Murmur's there.
Tina Wainwright's
She's
there.
the murmuring. She does the murmur. Yep.
Chris French jumps in the drums for Thank You for Sending an Angel. Then Jerry Harrison comes in for Found a Job. Then Slippery People is the backing singers. Lynn Mabry and Edna Holt. And then fucking Steve Slail shows up. And then fucking Bernie Worrell shows up.
So then about a sort of third into the film, you have everyone on stage and the drums on it. It's a blank stage to start with, and then
you can see ladders and stuff behind.
Yeah, and it slowly grows to this big like orgy of people and noise, and it's really like when you see it happen in front of you, like, oh, this is why this is such a revered piece of like concert filmmaking.
It's so fucked that nobody's even tried to do something as good as this.
I don't know if you remember watching the 1975's live show.
That was honestly the only thing I could think of that was even a wee bit similar.
There was an element of that to this, but just so much more cringe.
I don't think there's anything cringe about this. I think this is just class.
This is class. It's a masterpiece. It's perfect. Is it perfect? There's one or two things.
Okay, what's your issues? Liam's issues. New segment.
What didn't I like? There was no. I really loved it. I really loved it all.
Liam takes umbrage.
There was no umbrage. There was the bit where when he runs off to get his big suit on, and so it's just the other band members on stage. So they sing their song. What's it called? Where it's
Genius of Love
Genius
by the
of Love,
Tom Club.
one of the most sampled songs of all time. But then there's like a drum solo, and your man is like just shouting non sequiturs.
James Brown.
Yeah.
James Brown.
Yeah. That bit I didn't like.
I think that's a shame that you don't like the Tom Club.
I don't dislike the Tom Tom Club. That song, Genius of Love, is cool.
But you just don't like his improvised ad-libs.
Yeah, it was just a bit... Yeah, that was the bit where I was like...
Chris Friends.
This is a bit silly.
Got his book right here.
Oh wow, look at that. And has that been here the whole time?
Yeah.
Or did you bring it in today?
No, it's been here the whole time.
Wow, well, that's...
I haven't read it because it's just added to the library. I don't live here, unfortunately.
What?
I don't live in this studio, despite how my appearance would
then how
suggest.
whenever I walk in, are you sitting naked in a towel in the corner?
I've got my own stuff going on.
Wow, well, that's quite cool that this has been in the background the whole time.
Remain
There
in
you go.
love, yeah.
If you fast forward all of the filmed episodes of this podcast from the Libertines to now, it very much recaptures the energy of Stop Making Sense by Talking Heads, because the studio slowly improves and books get added with it until we end up in this big loud orgy we're in now.
Hopefully we're around, found a job, and it will continue to improve.
Yes.
Another 18 times.
Yeah, I think so. 18 more books ordered.
Nah, kid, no, it's a good studio.
Yeah. So
There's a big TV in it.
this, the actual album, serves as a kind of greatest hits, doesn't it? Because this was near the end of the life of the Talking Heads. They had 2 albums
Have we
after
done a
this.
live album yet?
Yeah, we did a Black Country New Roads live album.
Yeah, but that was like, it was a wee bit like M65's Kick Out the Jams, where it was a new album that was recorded live, as opposed to something like this.
Yeah. It kind of served as a great. There's only a couple talking head songs that aren't on this because
What ones would you like to see on it?
Well, there's only 2 albums after this. One of them was quite bad, I think, because it was like an album that was for a film, where the actors sang the songs and then they re-recorded it with their thing after it didn't really work. And then they had one last sort of Afrobeat inspired album
that has. And you was and it was
yes,
and it was
yes, and it also has
The Road to Nowhere.
I'm on the road to nowhere. That was a song that I knew of the Heads prior.
It's one
to
of my favourite songs.
Yeah. And also the song with Johnny Moore and Kirsty MacColl, the Nothing But Flowers.
Oh yeah,
I've got it written down. Nothing But Flowers.
That was one of my first exposures to Talking Heads. Was I remember watching Michael Barrymore. He had a TV show. What was it called? Do you know the one where it's like it would go up a kind of it's like stairs. It would go up.
He would go upstairs.
Yeah, it's like a game show by Michael Barrymore.
Up. You go upstairs.
Have you seen his work?
Have I seen the work of Michael Barrymore?
Anything he's done?
I think so. Yes.
He killed a guy once.
No,
arguably.
No, not arguably.
Okay.
No.
What happened?
Well, I don't know, but we can't say he killed a guy.
He has had a great life and a great career, right? I guess is what you want me to say.
Actually, he stuck up for Russell Brand recently, didn't he?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Talk about getting cancelled.
Yeah. What was your point about
This
Michael
song came
Barrymore?
on.
Did he sing it?
Michael Barrymore? I wish. Have you seen that one where he raps?
Wait a second.
No, I remember
You
watching
brought
that
up
with my
Michael
mom and
Barrymore.
dad.
Okay.
And then the song Road to Nowhere came up, and I was like, oh, that's like the Crash Bandicoot level, Road to Nowhere. Do you know the one where it's like the bridge into the clouds? It's called Road to Nowhere. It's one of the hardest levels in Crash Bandicoot.
I really hope there's no Talking Heads fans listening, because this could be the most frustrating episode of this podcast we've had.
I don't think it is.
Talking about Steve Buscemi and Crash Bandicoot.
I know who Bernie Worrell is.
Anyway, if you're not a big Talking Heads listener already, then I think this is the perfect sort of opening introduction to them.
I don't even know if it is, because like the versions on this are a lot better than a lot of the studio versions, because the players are a lot better. Basically, you know, there was the original 3 Talking Heads person, then they got Jerry, and then they toured for a wee bit, and then Brian Eno came in and kind of stole David Byrne away, and then David Byrne kind of started disrespecting the original core members. And then for this tour, for the Speaking in Tongues tour, they started implementing all these other players. They had Adrian Belew for a while. He was the old King Crimson guitar player. Then he left because he felt bullied out by the Tom Tom Club, who used some of his music on Genius of Love and didn't credit him for any of it. But then you had fucking Steve Slales, and Alex Weir came in. He's an amazing guitar player. So you had this amazing people. I mean, fucking Alex Weir played guitar. Is it Bernie Worrell was the keyboard player in Parliament Funkadelic and stuff? So basically what they were doing was they were being culturally insensitive by using all this African-inspired music. But then they actually done something which I think is quite cool, which is they actually got black people in their band.
Yeah.
Doing African-inspired pop music during apartheid actually paying for black people who you've ripped off to be in your band is like, if you're going to rip people off, you might as well fucking pay them and share a stage with them. If you want me to stop talking about Michael Barrymore, I guess. If you want me to have actual valid criticisms, I can do it. I choose not to.
Speaking of actual valid criticisms, this is this week's YouTube comment of the week.
Unhinged YouTube comment of the week.
This is really unhinged, right? And it's not. I just feel like this person put a lot of thought into this, so I just wanted to share it. I felt
nice YouTube comment of the week.
I just felt it was languishing away underneath a Talking Heads video.
Well, let's hear it.
This is from Habsum 1406, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is what you get when you combine 22-carat vocal cords, lungs with aircraft hangar capacity, or torso which has contemporary running through it like rings in a seaside rock, an intellect that knows instinctively how to render a song soulful and addictive to the ears. There were no half measures when God made Tom. That's on the Tom Jones video.
For burning down the house?
Yeah. I love contemporary running through it like rings in seaside rock.
I love contemporary.
Which has... No, I'm saying I love that.
Oh. But he doesn't. I wouldn't say that Tom Jones does have contemporary running through him like the letters in a piece of Blackpool or Brighton Rock. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, look, take that up with Habsum. But
Habsum, if you're listening, get in touch. Let's debate live in the
let's have a
marketplace of
poll
ideas.
on the Patreon over whether or not you should argue with Habsum.
It's going to be 98% yes, 2% no, and it's your shadow account. You want to hear my unhinged YouTube comment of the week?
So I think the comparison between the unhinged YouTube comment and your general comments throughout the episode are going to make the comments seem entirely hinged.
Okay, see how you feel. This is underneath the video. The issue is, I used to watch this film on YouTube. The whole thing was on YouTube for like 10 years. Right. And you could just sit and I'd put it in the background sometimes because it's just such a great thing to have. It's so visually arresting and like the music's incredible. But they took it down because A24, those braggarts, brigands, thieves, they fucking took it down because they were releasing it in cinemas. Right. So it's hard finding old videos of this film because they've all been taken down. But I found one from last year.
You know, if you want to watch it, though, it's in cinemas at the moment.
I didn't have access to the cinema for a few days, unfortunately. It's my girlfriend's birthday.
Yes.
Yeah?
Cinemas famously closed on girlfriends' birthdays.
They should be. They should be. Okay, so this was 2 years ago. I found a clip from 2 years ago that they hadn't taken down, that survived the Order 66, if you will. Do you know what that means?
The Stalinist Purge.
Yeah, the Stalinist Purge by the Jedi. Okay, Harry Hopkins said this 2 years ago underneath the video of Psycho Killer from this. He said, "Can't sleep, bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Reminds me of many horrifying nights going through severe withdrawals during a 25-year-long raging heroin addiction. Happy to say, clean nearly 18 months now. Nowadays, life is a breeze."
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hinged.
No. Well, the song's not about that. He's took the wrong message.
That's fine. So the album is about an hour and a half long. So I didn't get many full listen throughs in one sitting. So I did a couple of them. But
I got more for this than I have from shorter albums because it's so fun.
Well, I found myself each time I went to listen to it, then going, "Oh, I'll listen to that song. Oh no, wait, I'll listen to that song," because there are so many red hot bangers.
Yeah.
Like that. Choosing a favorite is nigh on impossible.
Yes.
They're so good. And there are some songs I didn't know so well that are wonderful, but throughout, I mean, it is really all killer, no filler. Mm-hmm. This is one of the best albums we've covered.
It's upsetting how good it is.
Yeah, and it's a masterpiece.
Do you want to hear some of Christopher's minor niggles?
Yeah. Christopher's minor niggles of the week.
I think Swamp is kind of... I don't think that's really... Whoa!
It reminded me a bit of the chanting from the Stooges, for sure.
Yes.
Hi. Is that the bit where he runs around the whole...
No, that's life during wartime. He runs around the thing.
Yeah.
That's like that's when it starts fucking... Woohoo!
Do you remember when I was watching that? I was reminded of you remember when Arctic Monkeys headlined Glastonbury this year,
Glasgow.
and there was a part where Alex Turner went down in the front and pretended to bowl for a bit, and it looked a bit shit.
I did not see
It reminded me of that. I was like,
He pretended to bowl?
he like pretended to bowl a strike, and I went, yes.
That's cool.
It wasn't cool. It didn't work.
Oh,
And as someone who likes, I mean, listen, I'm a monkey head, right?
you're a monkey.
I'm a monkey.
Hey with monkeys, as they say.
That's what I say every morning when I wake up.
Hey with the monkey.
Hey, we're the monkeys.
No more monkeying around.
We're doing some monkeying up in Mars.
I got a monkey on the moon. He's dead. There's no atmosphere on the moon.
I don't like it when they sing about being monkeys on the moon. I preferred it when they sung about having fights in nightclubs.
I remember when they were... monkeys in the nightclub. Getting kicked out the cloakroom.
I don't want to sing about being in nightclubs anymore.
I don't want to be in a
I want
nightclub.
to take my monkey to the moon.
I want to shag a monkey. Please. I'm gagging for shagging monkeys. You don't. You know what I'm saying?
What's your favourite song on this
I
record?
shagged a monkey in the car. What's my favourite song on this record? Oh, it's gotta be fucking Life During Wartime, man. It's just such a banger. And I remember seeing that. So I knew a guy from the early days of Chunks, the alternative Glaswegian comedy thing. There was a guy there who was friends with Jamie Rowland called Darren, who I bumped into on the train recently. Hadn't seen him really since this night. He had a girl with him. They were kind of together. So I was like, I'll leave them at that. And then I was just kind of bobbing about by myself. And I remember Life During Wartime came on. It's like... And I was like, what's
Sound
this
of
one?
gunfire.
Off in the distance.
I'm getting used to it now. What a cool song, by the way.
Unreal.
A song written from the perspective of someone who's living throughout a bit of war.
In New York during a bit of war. Just a wee bit of war.
Yeah.
He's getting like different passports and he's like a sniper and stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's great. Yeah. So during that, I went up to him and I went, hey, what's this song called? And he went, it's fucking Life During Wartime. I was like, right. So he was a bigger head than me.
A bigger head than you.
He was a bigger head for sure. But that's I think that's one of my favourite songs ever. I wish that maybe there's just 2 songs on Remaining Light that I wish were on it. One's called The Great Curve, which is a real dance banger. And then the first song, Born Under Punches. It's like, I wish that was on it as well. But that's just because I love that record. But I do remember getting into Talking Heads via 1977, the album that has Psycho Killer and Don't Worry About the Government and all those types of songs. And I was like, you know, I was a baby. I was smooth-brained as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old.
Now your brain has many wrinkles.
It's
like a prune.
It's like the Turin Shroud, man. Man, wrinkles on this thing.
Yeah.
It's like an old lady's face, my brain.
Yes. And not one who's been using an SPF.
No. It's like an old Italian lady's face.
Yes, I saw a lot of those. Let me tell you.
Yes. So I remember listening to 1977 and being like, okay, this is like an indie rock album, which it wasn't, but that's how I perceived it. And then someone was like, oh, the best Talking Heads record is Remaining Light. And I was like, I'll check that out. And I just remember listening to it and being like, I don't get this. I don't get this at all.
I think Remaining Light was the exact same one I listened to at first and was like, this is a bit too fucking crazy for me.
I wasn't ready for Black Excellence, as I've said before.
Yeah.
And now you know what I mean by that, kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
You also weren't ready for Black Excellence through the conduit of a guy from Dumbarton.
Yeah. No. I was just.
You are ready for Black Excellence through the conduit of a guy from Dumbarton?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Right.
Should we? I nearly forgot. Remark upon the body markations of David Byrne and his compadres. In the style of Talking Heads.
Oh.
With two guys reviewing tattoos. We're
It's like B-52s. With two guys reviewing tattoos. At the tattoo shack is a little old place where...
Do they have tattoos?
No.
So every week we add 2 songs from the ever-growing Enjoying album playlist.
We haven't even spoke. Have we got long left?
I don't know how long. We haven't
don't know
even
how long?
spoke. I don't know
It's
how long.
half
What time did we start?
2. We started at 1:30.
Right. So we should probably
wrap up.
Yeah. What did you want to speak about?
I just think it's crazy how they've reunited basically, and they do all these interviews and stuff. Because like a year ago, they were not like this book came out like 3 years ago, and
Yeah.
like a lot of it is him saying that Dave Byrne is a dick,
Yep.
and like Tina Weymouth said that he was like Trumpian, and that he was like evil,
A narcissist.
a narcissist.
He's heavy autistic though, isn't he?
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, but I mean, in that sense that sometimes people with autism can be a bit harder to read in social settings. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes what is well-intentioned is misinterpreted because it doesn't follow the social rules that you necessarily play if you don't have autism.
I have a hot take.
Okay.
Do you know how Morrissey? So according to the Kinsey scale, everybody's a wee bit gay.
Right.
You follow?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure.
I think.
I wouldn't open with it.
Where?
Trying to chat up a guy. Excuse me, sir. According to the Kinsey scale, everyone's a little bit gay.
Shag me, please. So according to the Kinsey scale, everybody's a wee bit gay.
Right.
I think that is what happens when a straight guy. Do you know how Morrissey has these legions of guys who are down the front in the 80s fucking ripping each other off the stage, going, "No, give me your flowers, Morrissey," and they're like straight guys.
Yep.
Morrissey is an avatar of repressed masculine homosexuality.
Okay.
And when a straight guy goes to see him, the part of him that is gay, even though he identifies as a straight man, he allows the audience member to live through that for an hour and a half.
Right.
I feel like, according to the neurodiversity spectrum, everybody is on that spectrum.
Right.
And I think that David Byrne does for autism what Morrissey did for homosexuality. And that when you go and you live through that awkwardness we were talking about with this film, where it progresses from starting awkwardly, the band comes together, he's enjoying it, he's losing himself in the music. I feel like that is what people get from Talking Heads. They go, "Oh, he's weird, I'm a wee bit like that sometimes."
Yeah.
Whether that means I'm incredibly like that or I'm only a wee bit like that. But he allows you to live that and enjoy it in a safe way.
Yeah, okay. I understand what you're saying. That I mean, it's like a vicariousness, isn't it? Of I'd love to dance like that.
I can.
And sometimes when I'm on my own, I do.
But not when you're in the View at the Omni Centre with 7 identical doppelgangers watching a film.
Do you want to know how like me these guys were?
Name it.
What on the way out?
3 of them said, "I love your podcast."
What, on the way out, someone said they saw my friend's show. One of the other 7 guys at the 6 o'clock View Omni screening of Stop Making Sense was a fan of me. I'm like, well, yeah, this is my demographic. Me. I love my friend's show too.
A wee specky guy at the train station said, "I love your podcast."
Yes.
I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to talk to him. I was genuinely making a train. I only had 3 minutes to make
He
it.
was making a train.
I was going
Wow,
from
no wonder you were busy.
Newcastle to Edinburgh, got in it. Shut the fuck up.
Constructing a
I
railway
make
line.
trains, okay? It's called being Scottish. You ever tried it? Maybe try it. We make things, we do things.
Would you like me to try being Scottish? I don't think you would appreciate that.
I don't think you're trying hard enough
Are
to
they?
be Scottish. Anyway, there's been great Scottish artists.
Aye.
Let's list them.
Aye. Franz Ferdinand.
Named that already.
What happened to my voice?
The Blue Hat. The Blue Nile.
The Blue Hat.
The Blue Nile. The
Blue-
Singing Kettle.
I love the Blue Hat.
They had an album called Hits. Anyway, every week we put 2 songs on.
It's hard because there's so many good songs on this. I really, the one that's been stuck in my head all day today, I think you could ask me this question every day of the week for the next 10 days and I would give you a different answer each day because I really love this album so much.
You've been
There's so
singing
much
Girlfriend is Better on the way down the hill, weren't you?
So it's in my head. And
Got a girlfriend.
that's
who's
where he
better
first
than that.
comes out in the big suit. So it's like so
I think people
visually
make too
arresting.
much a deal of the big suit.
I agree. Every time he's interviewed about this, so tell us about the big suit. And it's only really a portion, a very small portion
It's
of
a wee
this.
tiny bit.
To sum up, the big suit he wore after seeing some kabuki theatre in Japan, which explains why all the stagehands in the video are also all in black and the
Kabuki
things
No Theatre,
yes,
which is where they get the stagehands coming on. Have you seen that No Theatre bit where they're playing ping pong, the 2 actors, and the guys carrying the...
Yeah,
They do that with the guitars in this, basically.
Yeah, it's cool. But also in Kabuki Theatre, the costume is much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so his idea was, well, imagine if you did that, but with Western costume, i.e. the suit. And it would look funny. And the idea of stop making sense is to not worry about whether or not something is rational. So if you're sat there going, I wonder what the big suit means. You know, it's kind of Dadaist. It's to say, it doesn't mean anything.
I believe...
Can fly. What a song. So, the song we're going to put on is maybe Girlfriend is Better. I love Take Me to the River, which is a cover of Al Green we've covered, but I think it's Girlfriend is Better.
Mm-hmm.
What song are you going to put on the playlist?
There's so much I want to talk about. I've got more hot takes leaking out my bumhole as we speak.
Yeah.
I'm keeping them inside, but the chairs
You got to clench. You got to clench. Listen, as someone who's been through this a lot.
Ralph Brown is going to be steeped
Yeah,
in my feces.
The brown jewels. The brown chair.
Yes. Yes. That's what. That's it. Shut up, man. What was the other hot take I had? Yeah. Basically, they split up after this.
Yeah.
They kept going, but they split up. He made the film and
Yeah.
then didn't include them in it, and then he fucked off. And I think it's because they were always like, "Oh, why can't we just keep touring?" And I think he realized, well, we've completed it.
Yep.
We'd done touring as best as you can do it. We'd done the perfect concert film, which 40 years later, nobody's done anything close to doing.
Yep.
Because it's just so good.
Apart from the 1975.
But why is more people not ripping this off? I guess because it's really expensive and hard.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you have to be a real visionary to even try and put something like this together.
Yeah.
And it is a perfect combination of, and this is something I thought when I was watching it, of a collective of musicians all at the top of the game, recording what happened to be. I mean, we perform 4 or 5 times a week. How often do we hit ourselves personally on stage what we would call a 10 out of 10? Like, not that often, really. So they happen to have the cameras rolling when
3 days in a row.
they hit a 10 out of 10 personal performance with a 10 out of 10 director, with a 10 out of 10 show. The show wasn't directed by the director. The show was their touring show that just happened to be amazing. That all came together at once, and it's amazing to watch.
There's a bit of racism from one of the people who made that. Guy called McLeod.
Yes,
He was the artistic director. One of them. One
racist
of the
artistic
visual
director of the week.
unhinged visual director of the week. Guy called McLeod. He said the first day of shooting, I went to Daly's with David. He and I watched them at Technicolor on a wall. The first scene that came up was the one with the light bulb during This Must Be the Place. David watched it, then he looked at me and he said, okay, I'm pulling the plug on this because I don't know who you are. You're the only one who's ever around. Jonathan only comes at night when we shoot, and this isn't what I thought it was going to be at all. I was ready to faint, really. But I'm Scottish, and David's Scottish. So the only thing I could think to say was, okay, you're perfectly within your rights to do that, but no matter what, you've lost the money. Because we've committed to the Pantages for 3 days. We've booked the crew, we've booked the equipment. We can continue and try to get it right, but if you pull the plug, then the whole thing goes down the drain. You lose your money. I remember debating whether or not to call Jonathan. That's fucked up.
So he's saying, I realised because David is Scottish, he won't actually want to pull the plug on this because he won't want to lose the money, because Scottish people famously very, very
Tight.
very tight. I don't know if that's a stereotype I've ever heard.
What?
Is that real? Scottish people.
You ever been hungry?
Oh yeah, this is your whole bit.
Do you know that song's? I mean, I could just keep going. I'd really love this.
I know we're overrunning though quite massively, so I think you do need to choose the song.
Was David Byrne's girlfriend,
Yes.
and she was the.
Oh, you are carrying on.
I'm just going to keep.
You need to choose a song.
I've got other stuff.
I know, but you need to choose a song.
You should have told me not to talk about Michael Barrymore as much, and then I would have had more time.
If only I had said that.
Steve Buscemi and Michael Barrymore.
If only I had said
That's
something like
That's
that.
your fault.
That is on me. Which song are you going to put on the playlist?
From the album I'm going to put on, Life During Wartime. Although it could easily be This Must Be the Place.
It could easily be a number of different things. And what is the bonus song you're going to put on Inspired by Our Conversation?
Lazy.
Nothing but I'm lazy.
A deep house banger from 2002 when I was 9 years old.
I'm also going to put on another David Byrne song. It is with the Talking Heads. It's Nothing But Flowers with Johnny Marr and Kirsty McCall. It features the words, and as things fell apart, nobody paid much attention, which some of our cooler listeners will recognize as the opening words to Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho, which he was inspired by the song to put it. Yeah, okay. So yes, pretty cool, I think, and wonderful song, one of my favorites. So that brings us
Do you know Kirsty McCall died in a speedboat accident?
What?
Huh?
What? When?
So fucked up.
When?
In the 90s.
What?
The late 80s, the early 90s. Nobody talks about it.
I wish someone would.
We should talk about it.
I wish someone would talk more about Michael Barrymore and the things he's been up to.
What happened there?
I would love to. I'd
Speculate. A guy drowned for the Inside Out.
I think someone died at his house party. I don't think it was directly his fault. I think that would be, I think he had a party and someone died. Nah. That's as much as I'm willing to say on camera.
You think?
That's what I think.
That's what he thinks.
If you'd like to know my actual inside,
follow us on Patreon.
what I really think about it, we're doing a deep dive, the Barrymore Files, starting soon, starring Alexa Chung. Is that what you're saying, Cha-cha-chung? Listen, that's the end of this very chaotic episode.
The Barrymore Files.
And we hope you enjoyed it. We hope it wasn't too much. Wasn't bottled ADHD poured all over you. And we'll be back next week for more album enjoyment. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week. Love you. Bye.
Peace and love in the new millennium.
The Barrymore Files. Coming soon.